Well, if you sold in May and went away, you're crying right now. All major indices are on track for some solid monthly gains. Here now, Fox Business's own Charlie Gasparino, NewOak President James Frischling, and the Wall Street Journal's Simon Constable. So, in general, this is one that works. Sell in May and go away. This year, not so much so far. The Nasdaq's up almost 3%. What do you think?
You know, look, I think this is still very much, and I hate to keep beating this drum, but a Fed-fueled rally. So the Fed is not pulling the punch bowl away. You had weak GDP, a contraction in Q1. You got weaker consumer spending. You got high equity valuations.
The market, the contraction in GDP, Charlie, what do you think?
Absolutely. I think you hit it right on the head. I mean, you know, this is a perverse market. It's been a perverse market since the beginning since the end of the financial crisis, the beginning of QE. If the economy stays lousy and they keep printing money or don't taper as much,
right,
the markets are going to keep going up.
Simon, what do you think?
The thing you've got to remember is that for most people, the summer isn't really what it's about. It's about 10, 20, 30, 40, even 50 years away when they want to retire. That's when they need the money. The summer doesn't matter. Just leave it there.
Leave it there. All right. So just column beats for Bezos. Reports say that Amazon is set to launch a music streaming service this summer. Simon, what do you think about this one?
I think this is good for Prime and good for Amazon. I mean, I've got a Prime membership, but I'm not going to be using this.
Right, me too, and I won't. So what is it? So how is it good for Amazon?
I think there will be people who will use this, and I think this feeds into the potential or probable handset that they're talking about for a phone, and that will really work for them.
I think they have one big problem. I'm a huge fan of Amazon. I have Prime, but I have all Apple devices. So it's like a walled garden. I have Apple TV and everything else. I don't watch any Prime TV. I'm not going to be able to listen to music either. James?
I think it's going to help soften the blow maybe of the increase in the Prime subscription price. It also is a bundled service that comes with the rumored phone. It comes with the Kindle. It's something that's there. It's not a threat to the major Spotify's and radio and iHearts, but I think it's a bundled with these things, it's a plus for Amazon subscribers.
Charlie Gasparino, I see you on Spotify all the time. I mean, isn't that you? You're always downloading the latest.
I don't usually listen to music that much.
No, that is surprising.
But, you know, I became a fan of Amazon. My wife and I download music from Amazon.
You do?
Yeah, I mean...
like what? What's the last song you downloaded?
No. So, we download films.
Okay.
I think it's a great service, and I think this is just one more added. It's value added, and, you know, this is a company, I think, that could take out a big company like Apple, maybe.
I don't know. That's an interesting proposition.
The stickiness really helps because it's an annuity business for them. They have these annuities of being, you know, you're paying like $100 a year, and it's coming in.
So forget Beats. Apple's stock is soaring ahead of the rumored iPhone 6 launch this fall. Shares are up about 20% in the past 3 months. James, do you own this one? Would you buy this one?
Don't own it, but I felt a little lonely how much I liked the Beats move by Apple, and I felt a little out there on my own. I think it has a lot to do with Apple now maybe imitating the larger Samsung screen, the pent-up demand of all the iPhone 4 and 5 holders that are now about to convert, bigger screen, and they showed that they could use their capital to buy innovation as opposed to try and create it.
UBS is saying that 80% or more of current iPhone users are due for a new phone as this phone launches. That's enormous, right? You're shaking your head. You finally have an iPhone.
I mean, I like the way you guys ask me stuff about, you know, women's clothing and which I don't wear, just so you know.
I'm so glad you clarified
and technology, which I'm you know, I'm very low tech.
Have you heard of Apple?
I've heard of Apple. I've heard of Tim Cook. Listen, I don't trust when the stock of Apple goes up because of developing a new product. We have no idea if people are going to buy it, and we don't know how good it is, if it's going to work. And you know, I just worry about this company in terms of innovation. They don't strike me as the most innovative company right now.
And I think your crankiness represents about half of our audience out there. Yeah, and your resistance to technology. That's why we have you out here.
So
half the people in the audience are shaking their fist on the front line.
I am the everyman of Fox.
That's what I
don't wear women's clothing.
I don't think.
Just to add,
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
To add to what Charlie
says, he's denying it so much now. Though, go ahead, Simon.
Buying Beats was really a sign that they couldn't invent it inside the company. And you know, for the last times under Jobs, they invented stuff in the company that was amazing. You didn't know you wanted it until you saw it, then you did. This one they had to buy, and then lousy headphones.
No, I didn't know anything about Beats until I came on the show.
And you still
I didn't even know there was a company name.
Okay, fines by Southwest. The airline has been hit with a $200,000 fine for advertising cheap fares that weren't actually available. This is so evil. So they did this campaign that you could fly for $59 from Atlanta to New York, Chicago, and LA, and then they didn't make a single seat available. I mean, the outrage.
Why did they only get fined $200,000?
I don't
I thought he was going to say 200 million or
It
something.
should have. I don't know.
Maybe I'm used to the J.P. Morgan fine.
They say they say it was a mistake.
200,000.
They say it was a mistake,
Jamie's
but I
bill.
thought this was modus operandi, because whenever you get on Expedia or something, you think, oh, there, I can get it, and you click, and you go for it, and then it's up $500.
I mean, $200,000 is Jamie's like lunch bill, right?
Right.
So
you're saying he might pay this fine for Southwest
I would
and
just
help
say,
them out?
then they're probably a client of J.P. Morgan. But I would just say this: if it was that egregious, it'd be more. It's probably a mistake. You don't think so?
I don't know.
It was only a few weeks ago we were on your show talking about the Transparent Fair Act being pulled, and now they're lying on their advertising. I don't see why this is a tough issue. Just tell the truth in the ads.
Are you
Let's
sure
keep
they're
it
lying?
simple.
Or they just? It wasn't a
I think they didn't make it. They said it was a mistake, that they meant to make seats available and then they didn't. I don't know. I mean, it seems awfully convenient to me. I'm always very suspicious.
Not me.
Anyway.
I believe PR guys all the time.
All right, thanks, guys. The California Senate is approving a bill to raise the minimum wage to $13 an hour. This comes as lawmakers from cities and states across the country push for similar measures this week. Charlie and James are back with us, as well as our own Charles Payne. I mean, it's astounding to me. California approving a bill to move the minimum wage to $13 an hour by 2017. Their unemployment rate is 7.8%. There are only 3 states that have higher unemployment, yet these guys are going to raise the minimum wage. Charles Payne, sound off for me.
And, of course, we've got all these businesses that have been leaving California in droves. It's the most expensive state to live in. New businesses really aren't starting up there. Even in Hollywood, they had to up the premiums just to keep them to make movies, the subsidies just to keep them to make movies there. I've never seen such a dysfunctional place. And here's the thing. All the things that people tell us are cures to income inequality are being exemplified in California, and it's the worst state in the country for income inequality.
You go to Chicago, the aldermen there proposing, it's currently $8.25. They're proposing to kick it up to $15 an hour. But then people have more money in their pockets, and they'll spend more, and it'll help the economy. That's always the argument. James, what do you think?
Look, I get the desire. It's going to cost jobs. If you think about the hospitality industry and the workers being, or a dominant number of their workers being these minimum wage employees, you're going to see them scaling back. Danny Myers didn't do Shake Shack and get rid of the servers because he was a nice guy. He did it to protect his margins, counter service. The restaurant industry will react if they have to pay more, and they're going to change their business. It's going to hurt jobs.
Charlie Gasparino.
The economics on this are really bad in terms of employment. I mean, just forget. I want people to make as much money as possible. My dad was an iron worker, so I'm a union guy, but the economic numbers on here just don't work. You raise minimum wage, particularly in these jobs that affect small businesses, they hire less. It's the bottom line economics.
But it's getting so much traction. I mean, we were just looking at video there of one of the many protests. Why?
You know why? Because we have an economy under President Obama, whether the liberals like this or not, that has produced jobs on the low end, jobs on the high end.
And nothing in the middle.
And not a lot in the middle.
That's a great
Look at those statistics. James Pentecookis from AEI had this graph about the good jobs in the middle have not been produced in this president. So you're going to have...
They're saying this is the solution to raise the minimum wage, but it's not.
And it's also, we talk about it a lot in economic terms because it's pretty simple. It is proven that, as you raise it, fewer people will have jobs. But I think there's another part to this. The fairness argument backfires big time. Because if I'm someone with a low skill set, the worst thing you can do is to pay me more for that low skill set. Because not only are you making it comfortable for me not to get better as a human being, you're asking other people, hey, take this route because you'll be rewarded.
Charles,
you're rewarding and encouraging mediocrity.
Charles, here's the one problem. We don't have bridge jobs anymore.
But you know what?
We're losing those
The
jobs.
Philadelphia Fed out last week said we have 600,000 jobs right now. High-skilled manufacturing, only 7% need college. High-skilled manufacturing.
If you can write code, you can get a job.
This is a STEM. This is the manufacturing report. These are manufacturing jobs.
Listen,
why are they
Because it's a skill set. It's a skill set issue.
If you can write code and you have high skills, you can get a job. But people on the bottom end cannot get those middle jobs.
Those are 2 million jobs for STEM. But I was shocked that this was manufacturing jobs, and only 7% of these jobs.
I would say AEI, not a liberal think tank, put out their stats. Those middle jobs are just not there anymore.
Thanks, guys.